The late afternoon sun cast a golden haze over Santa Monica's Muscle Beach. The open-air gym was alive with the clang of weights, the thud of sand underfoot, and the rhythmic crash of Pacific waves. The boardwalk buzzed with tourists snapping photos, locals grinding reps, and fitness influencers filming content. Dominating the scene was Carlos, a 6'3", 250-pound bodybuilder with arms like tree trunks and a voice that carried like a megaphone. His tank top strained against his sculpted frame, and his every move, whether a deadlift or a flex, drew eyes and phones. Carlos was a Muscle Beach staple, known for his dominance on the pull-up bars and a personality as big as his biceps. Today, though, the crowd's attention split. Near the dip bars, a leaner figure in a black cap and sunglasses warmed up quietly, his movements precise and unhurried. It was Jason Statham, the action star whose chiseled physique and gritty persona had made him a fitness icon. At 5'10" and around 180 pounds, he was no stranger to Muscle Beach. He often slipped in for functional workouts, bodyweight circuits, kettlebell swings, and martial arts drills. But Carlos had fixated on him, convinced Jason's reputation was built on camera tricks and hype, not real strength. For weeks, Carlos had been mouthing off, claiming Jason couldn't hang with the gym's heavy hitters. Today, with a crowd swelling and phones already out, he saw his shot. "Yo, Statham." Carlos's voice boomed, silencing nearby chatter. He strode over, his shadow swallowing the smaller man. "You think you're tough, 'cause you look jacked? Let's see you back it up." The crowd formed a loose circle, phones glinting in the fading light. Carlos flexed, veins bulging like cables, and smirked. "I'm calling you out, movie star. Muscle Up Showdown, right here, right now. Or you gonna hide behind your Hollywood tricks?" Tension crackled. A few spectators cheered for Carlos. Others whispered nervously. Muscle-ups, a pull-up flowing into a dip above the bar, required explosive power, grip strength, and shoulder stability. For a man Carlos's size, they were a feat. For someone like Jason, leaner and pushing 60, they were a gamble. Jason paused mid-stretch, slid off his sunglasses, and met Carlos's gaze with calm, piercing eyes. A faint smile tugged at his lips, but there was steel in his posture. "All right, mate," he said, his British accent clipped. "You want a test? Let's do it." The crowd erupted, some hyping Carlos's raw power, others curious if Jason could defy expectations. A local CrossFit coach named Mia, wiry and authoritative, stepped in to referee. She'd seen countless Muscle Beach challenges and knew how to keep things fair. 10 muscle-ups each, strict form, no kipping, no half reps, she said firmly. Chest to bar on the pull, full extension on the dip. First to finish clean, or last man standing, wins. Rest 1 minute between sets if we go multiple rounds. She glanced at both men, ensuring they nodded. The rules were logical, strict form prevented cheating, and the rest period acknowledged real-world fatigue limits. Phones were rolling, some streaming live to X, where #Statham vs Carlos started trending. Carlos went first, gripping the bar with hands like sledgehammers. At his size, muscle-ups were a physics challenge, more mass meant more force required. But Carlos was a freak, his lats flaring as he pulled his 250 pounds upward, transitioning smoothly into the dip. His first 5 reps were textbook, each one drawing roars from the crowd. By rep 8, though, his pace slowed, shoulders straining under his body weight. He finished 10, dropping heavily to the sand, chest heaving but grinning. "Your move, Hollywood," he panted, wiping sweat from his brow. His time, 48 seconds. Jason stepped up, his frame lean but dense, built from years of bodyweight training, martial arts, and functional strength work. At 180 pounds, he had a biomechanical advantage, less mass to move, but his age and the crowd skepticism hung over him. He gripped the bar, his knuckles whitening, and began. His first muscle-up was smooth, a controlled pull, a quick transition, and a locked-out dip. No wasted motion. The crowd murmured as he hit rep 5, his rhythm metronomic. By 10, he landed lightly, breathing steadily. His time, 52 seconds. Slower, but his form was flawless, and he looked fresher than Carlos, who was already flexing to mask his fatigue. Mia checked her stopwatch. Round 1's done. Carlos edges out on time, but both clean. 1 minute rest, then round 2, 15 reps. The crowd buzzed, sensing a real fight. Carlos's size gave him raw power, but muscle-ups taxed the shoulders and grip disproportionately for heavier athletes. Jason's lighter frame and efficiency could close the gap over more reps, where endurance mattered. During the rest, Carlos gulped water, his chest still heaving. Jason stretched his shoulders, rolling them to stay loose. The science was clear, muscle-ups relied on fast-twitch fibers, but repetitive sets drained glycogen stores and spiked lactic acid. Carlos's bulk meant higher energy demands. Jason's leaner build and technique could delay fatigue. The crowd didn't know biomechanics, but they felt the stakes rising. Round 2 began. Carlos attacked the bar, his first 10 reps strong but less crisp. By 12, his transitions grew sloppy, elbows flaring as his shoulders burned. He grunted through 15, dropping at 1 minute, 26 seconds, sweat pooling in the sand. His form had slipped, 2 reps were questionable, but Mia let them pass, noting the crowd's bias toward him. Jason went next, his pace deliberate. Each rep was identical: pull, transition, dip, descend. By 12, his forearms twitched, but his core stayed tight, stabilizing his lighter frame. He finished at 1 minute, 32 seconds. Slower but cleaner, and landed with a controlled exhale. The crowd roared, split between Carlos's fans and those sensing an upset. Mia raised her hands. Round 2's close, but Jason's form holds. Final round, 20 reps, no time limit. Just completion. 1 minute rest. The crowd went wild. 20 muscle-ups pushed the limits of even elite athletes. Studies on bodyweight exercises suggest that after 30 to 40 high-intensity reps, grip strength and shoulder stability plummet, especially under fatigue. Carlos's mass was now a liability. Jason's experience with high-rep circuits gave him an edge, but his age meant recovery was slower. Carlos started strong, but by rep 10, his form deteriorated. His pull-ups barely cleared the bar, his dips shallow. At 15, his grip faltered, and he hung, gasping, before pushing through 2 more. At 17, he failed a transition, his shoulders too fried to lock out. He dropped, cursing under his breath, and waved off the bar. The crowd gasped. Carlos, the Muscle Beach King, was done. His total, 17 reps in 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Jason took the bar, the crowd now chanting his name. His first 10 reps were steady, but by 12, his arms shook, and his breathing grew ragged. Muscle-ups at this volume were a war of attrition, lactic acid was flooding his muscles, and his grip was slipping. But Jason's training kicked in. Years of martial arts had built his mental toughness, and his lighter body weight conserved energy. At 15, his face tightened, pain evident, but he kept moving. The crowd's chants, "Statham! Statham!" became a lifeline. At 18, his transitions slowed, each dip a grind. At 19, he hung for a split second, then powered through, locking out the dip. The 20th rep was agony, but he completed it, landing with a stumble before straightening. Time, 2 minutes, 48 seconds. The beach exploded. Phones captured the moment, clips flooding X, where debates raged over strength versus hype. Carlos, red-faced and silent, approached Jason and extended a hand. "Didn't see that coming," he muttered, respect in his eyes. Jason shook it, his grip firm but not smug. Tough one, mate, he said, then turned to the crowd, raising a hand before grabbing his towel. Mia sidled up, grinning. Not bad for a guy everyone underestimated, she said. Jason smirked, wiping sweat. Keeps it fun. He glanced at Carlos, now talking quietly with supporters, his bravado replaced by introspection. For Jason, it wasn't about ego. It was about the grind, the discipline, the quiet strength that proved itself in action. As the sun sank, Muscle Beach returned to its rhythm. But the showdown, fueled by raw power, grounded in physical logic, and charged with pride and redemption, lived on in videos, posts, and the lore of Santa Monica's sandy battleground.